the PlayStation 5 needs more going for it for me to think about even buying the console. But it's just a shame because Astrobot looks actually quite good. How much did Sony pay you? Oh, this Sony executive is just right off camera. Oh, thanks for the check. Appreciate that. I only got a few things written down here. Maybe you guys can help me out with this for things to talk about. But the first thing that comes to mind is the PlayStation 5. I know like a bunch of this is like outdated, but whatever. I don't stream that often. But, you know, things stand out to me that happened some time ago that interest me, you know? So they're putting out the PlayStation Pro for $700 I think. And it's got like a better graphics chip with like a 45% improvement or something. It's got advanced ray tracing, which I don't give a shit about. and it's got this like, it's like, fuck, how do I describe it? It's like, you know, AMD has their fucking FSR graphics mode and Nvidia has like a DLSS thing. It's sort of like an AI driven more artificial way of like increasing the fidelity of the graphics. So in the case of Nvidia, what DLSS will do, I think, is duplicate frames to artificially increase the frame rate. So it's not the graphics chip doing it. It's sort of it's a post-processing effect. And so PlayStation's version of that is to do the same kind of thing, but with pixels. So I guess you create pixels in between pixels to sort of artificially increase the resolution. And I don't know why they didn't just do one or the other. You know what I mean? Like, either do the advanced graphics chip or do the post-processing thing. It just seems like if you do both, it's overkill and it puts the price too high. So, like, why not just do one, if only to keep the price point down? And then it'll be more appealing to consumers. Because $700, I mean, especially with the fact that you're not getting a disk drive, and it doesn't even come with a plastic fucking vertical stand. Like, they can't even just throw that in there, you know what I mean? That strikes me as bullshit. That they can't even just include the plastic stand for that price. And with the omission of a disk drive, I don't like this normalization of... Because what this is going to do is normalize the trend of only releasing digital versions of games, and there's not going to be physical media anymore. I don't like that digital purchases can just be taken away at any time and, you know, removed or censored or whatever. Or you just get locked out of your things that you bought for no reason. Like, because that's happened already. So it just seems like such a clumsy move on Sony's part. And I'm not shitting on the hardware. Actually, I think the console is actually quite sophisticated. And I think the controller for it is amazing. Like, the other day, I bought myself a DualSense controller. Because I was playing with my Xbox One controller. And, like, I was trying to do... I saw on Steam that the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection was discounted. And so I'm like, fuck, I really would like to play Metal Gear Snake Eater again. And so I got it for Snake Eater. And I was playing that with an Xbox controller. and you have to like hold right bumper down to like go into first person mode. But I find that on that controller, I have to like push it quite hard for the first person view to maintain. Like otherwise, like if I just lightly tap it, like I don't feel like I'm tapping it too lightly, but it is too light nonetheless, and it'll like flip in and out of first person mode, like I'm not pressing it hard enough, and it's like really annoying. So I got to press it down extra hard, and that was pissing me off. So I'm like, fuck it, I should just get like a DualSense controller, and that'll be way better. And because it's like compatible with Steam, and Steam will like if you have a game on Steam that supports the DualSense controller natively, it'll take full advantage of all its features if as long as it's connected over a USB cable. So it's like that's cool, and plus it'll work with just about anything else through Steam's virtual gamepad input. So Steam has sort of like a software virtual controller thing that gets mapped onto all the buttons of your DualSense, your Xbox controller, or whatever you want to use. And so you can play anything with it. So you don't have to have a PS5 to take advantage of that controller. So I was just like, fuck it. I've been wanting that controller for a while, and I'll just grab it. And I got it, and the difference is just incredible. Like, I fucking love that controller. It's great. And it might actually be my favorite controller. Next to like I think second place goes to the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. But yeah, that DualSense controller is dope. So I mean, the PlayStation hardware is good, but that price point is ridiculous. I hate the idea of taking the disc drive out and selling it secondarily. And you can't even throw the stand in. Like, fuck off. And I haven't even gotten to the main problem, is that it doesn't have any fucking games. Where's all the games? PlayStation 3 was the console that was memed for having no games. Why the fuck isn't that happening with PlayStation 5? It's like most of the stuff on PS5 is gonna get, or has already been ported to PC anyway. It's only got a handful of exclusives. And not all of those, I don't think, are worth playing. I mean, from my perspective anyway. Some people might disagree, but there's only a few games that I would play on it. So there's no way I'm paying $700 for a system that's got barely anything going for it in terms of software. The one thing I saw recently that was awesome was Astrobot. I thought that looked actually really cool. That should have been a launch title. I don't know why it was. I guess they needed more time to like make the fucking game. But Astrobot feels like, it actually feels something like Mario Odyssey or something like that, but for PlayStation 5. It doesn't have quite the charm of like Mario, I don't think, but I think it's pretty close to achieving that. And I don't mind that it's like inspired by PlayStation 5 hardware. They're flying around in a big PS5 ship and whatever. I saw this Kotaku article recently that called it soulless for doing that because it's so obsessed with the PS5, and it's just like, dude, he's a mascot. He's a console mascot. His design is inspired by the hardware. Like, what the fuck do you want? And plus, it's like, it looks like it plays really well, so who cares? The gameplay is what matters, right? And it actually looks quite good. And I like that the game takes advantage of the PlayStation 5's processing power to just have stupid, colorful, fun shit in it. Like, you know, just piles of like jelly beans or gems or whatever that you can run in, and they're all like, they all interact with each other because they're all dynamic objects. Like, that's a lot of calculation to do something like that. And obviously the PlayStation 5 is powerful enough to do that. And they use all that processing power for colorful, decorative, silly shit like that I think is really cool and charming. So, I mean, it's still not enough. The PlayStation 5 needs more going for it for me to think about even buying the console. But it's just a shame because Astrobot looks actually quite good. How much did Sony pay you? Oh, this Sony executive is just right off camera. Oh, thanks for the check. Appreciate that. Anyway, enough Sony shilling. So that was my bid on PlayStation 5. I think the price is stupid, and the hardware's fine. The controller's really good. It's just that price point and no games is fucking ridiculous. And also there's the issue of all these fucking scalpers that just use software tools and bots to just buy everything, every single online checkout thing. They just scrape everything that's in inventory and then sell it all off at a inflated price, right? $30 for the stand. $30 for the plastic PS5 stand? Fucking hell, man. It's just plastic. I mean, right? I think it is. Because all it needs to do is just hold the console up vertically. It doesn't need to be made of like fucking adamantium. It can just be plastic, I'm pretty sure. $30. Get fucked. I really dislike the adaptive triggers. It goes against trigger discipline when you have to pull the trigger only halfway. I haven't played anything yet that supports the controller natively. So I don't think I've experienced any of the real DualSense features yet. I think the Dead Rising remaster does have native support for the controller, and it'll do some DualSense-y stuff, but I haven't tried it with that game yet. I don't think I'm not sure I own any other games that would take advantage of that stuff. I thought about getting God of War Ragnarok for now that it's on PC, but I haven't even finished the first one yet, even though I'm near the end, like the first God of War. And then there's also that thing of like having to create a PlayStation account in order to play God of War Ragnarok on PC, which is just fucking annoying. Like, this Helldivers had the same thing, right? It's like, why you're just gonna piss a whole bunch of people off to artificially inflate your PlayStation account numbers, you know what I mean? It just feels dumb, and I wish they wouldn't do it, but it depends how much of a headache it is for me. Like, so I don't know what exactly the process is. Like, you put the game in and it asks you to log in, I guess. And then so you have to just go to Sony.com or whatever the fuck and create an account, and then you put in your credentials in the game prompt, like before the main menu, I'm guessing, to play. And I don't like introducing a point of failure like that for the reason of just artificially inflating their numbers, their account, their member numbers. But it depends, I guess, on execution. Like if say their servers went down, if Sony's servers went down, and that meant that I couldn't boot the game up, that would piss me off, and I don't want to get it if that's the case. But maybe it doesn't work like that. Maybe it's like a one-time thing. Like if you just enter your credentials in like one time and then you don't have to do it ever again, then maybe I'll consider getting it. I'm not sure. Notice how they removed the disk drive on the PS5 Pro. This can only mean that they don't want games. Yeah, I was talking about that. It's fucking stupid. I wish they wouldn't have done that. Price point is insane. Normies probably haven't caught up to how GPUs cost $500 each, so seeing that a console costs $800 is probably disgusting to them. Yeah, it's true that GPUs are expensive as well. But like, I mean, I would much rather, especially as a content creator and somebody who's on his computer like most of the time, like, and I do a lot of graphic design work, I do video editing, like I do a lot of work on my computer. Investing in a computer and a GPU is worthwhile for me. Maybe not so much for people who like don't do much computer work, you know? Maybe I can understand them rather preferring to get a console, you know, and not fucking around with computers, especially if you lack the technological know-how to like, because I remember like before I was technologically proficient, I was afraid to like open up a computer and mess around with anything out of fear that I would blow something up or damage something, you know. But you know, in my last years of high school, and oh yeah, just my last years of high school, I took these college level courses where I was just opening up computers and building them and taking them apart, and then I wasn't scared anymore. I was like, oh, this is actually not that complicated. It just looks intimidating because of all the circuit boards and the chips and the wires and shit. But once you look up everything, like, it's all like graspable if you just spend some time researching. No one likes the PS5 Pro, Raffle. Yeah, I'm surprised. I'd be surprised if anybody did. And I'd be curious as to what the perks are. I mean, I understand the graphics, and I understand people sort of misrepresenting it as if the improvement is so marginal it's nothing, by like sharing screenshots on Twitter saying this is the regular console running this game, and this is the new console running the same game, and it's like a side-by-side comparison, and it's just like, look, it's the fucking same. And it's like, that's not the resolution. I mean, one, I don't know how you've captured these photos, whether you've captured the true resolution of each image, so there's that. Plus, the notable difference isn't in the resolution as much as it is the frame rate. You know, so you got to compare videos side by side. And there is a notable improvement in frame rate if you've got it cranked up to performance graphics. Like, the frame rate looks quite smooth. So, I mean, there is obviously a hardware benefit to it. Like, the games do run better. But it's just, it costs too much, and there's no games. Those are crucial. Like, it's like getting shot with 2 bullets. It's just like, ugh. Like, that will stop you in your tracks. You know what I mean? How much did Sony pay you? $100 billion. Ray tracing is such a waste of resources at this point in time. I know, I don't give a shit. I mean, I understand having like base level reflections. Like, just in terms of hardware taxation, the absolute minimum of just reflecting the static game world, which is like low cost, I think. I don't even think that would involve ray tracing. You can do that in a cheaper way. Again, in terms of hardware taxation. But this ray tracing where like it reflects absolutely everything including dynamic objects and the player, like yourself as the player. I don't need those reflections. I don't give a shit. I don't care if I'm missing from the reflection, you know? Like, because I'm not staring at the reflections going, oh, is everything there? Okay, good. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm too focused on what the game wants me to do. So this advanced ray tracing thing is like, who cares? Fuck. The obvious argument that people make is like, but it looks great. And it's like, yeah, I don't disagree. It looks really good. But it's just not worth the spike in hardware use and the price to make it happen. And processing power, more specifically. 100 billion? That's almost enough to fund the Arby and the Chief video game exclusively on PS5 Pro. Only the PS5 Pro, not even the regular PS5.